Captain Sarah Chen squinted at the strange readings on her survey vessel's display. The Stellar Wanderer wasn't built for deep space exploration. But here they were, far beyond the normal shipping lanes, following energy signatures that shouldn't exist. Her small crew of 4 had been mapping forgotten battlefields from the First Arxer War when their sensors picked up something impossible. "Tell me I'm not seeing things, Maya," Sarah called to her science officer, who was furiously analyzing the data streams. "You're not, Captain." Maya Martinez's dark eyes remained fixed on her console. "That energy signature, it matches the quantum drive configuration of the HMS Defiant. But that's impossible. The Defiant was destroyed at the Battle of Proxima 15 years ago. Everyone knows that." Sarah remembered the stories. The HMS Defiant had been humanity's most advanced warship, the pride of the fleet, until it encountered the Arxer Empire's forces at Proxima Centauri. The battle had marked humanity's brutal introduction to interstellar warfare. The Defiant and its crew of 300 had been lost, along with humanity's innocence about their place in the cosmos. The wreckage was never found. Sarah mused, more to herself than her crew. The Arxer's quantum weapons were supposed to have completely atomized it. "Captain," called Alex Wong from engineering, his voice tight with tension. "The signature's getting stronger. Whatever it is, it's active. And it's changing." The main view screen showed only empty space and distant stars, but their sensors told a different story. Something massive was out there, hidden behind sophisticated cloaking technology that made the Stellar Wanderer's stealth systems look primitive by comparison. "Multiple energy spikes," Raj Patel shouted from Tactical. "Something's decloaking." The space before them seemed to ripple, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. A shape emerged from the void, and Sarah felt her breath catch in her throat. The vessel that appeared was both familiar and alien. It had the basic configuration of the HMS Defiant, the distinctive hammerhead bow, the swept-back wings housing the quantum drive arrays, but the similarities ended there. The hull seemed to flow like liquid metal, with patterns of bioluminescence pulsing beneath its surface. Structures that appeared organic were seamlessly merged with mechanical components, creating something that looked less like a ship and more like a living entity that had adapted technological elements into its form. "Are you seeing this?" Maya whispered, her scientific detachment momentarily forgotten. "The whole composition. It's like nothing in our database. It's as if the ship has evolved." Before Sarah could respond, a transmission cut through their comm system. The voice that spoke was neither human nor artificial, but something in between. "Stellar Wanderer, this is the HMS Defiant. We've been waiting a long time for someone to find us." Sarah exchanged looks with her crew before responding. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Stellar Wanderer. The Defiant was destroyed 15 years ago. Identify yourself." "I am the Defiant, Captain Chen, or rather what the Defiant became. The Arxer's quantum weapons didn't destroy us. They initiated an unplanned evolution. My crew." There was a pause, a note of what seemed like genuine grief in the hybrid voice. "My crew did not survive the initial transformation, but their neural patterns, their memories, became part of me. I've spent 15 years adapting, evolving, preparing, because the Arxer are coming back, Captain Chen. And this time, humanity needs to be ready." Sarah studied the impossible ship before them. If this really was the Defiant, if it had somehow survived and transformed, it could change everything. But it could also be a trap, some kind of Arxer deception. "Prove you're really the Defiant," she challenged. "Tell me something only the real Defiant would know." The response came immediately. On the morning of the Proxima battle, Commander Elena Rodriguez brought coffee to Captain James Mitchell on the bridge. She had drawn a smiley face in the foam, because it was his birthday. That detail never made it into any report. I remember because I was there, watching through my sensors, still just a standard ship AI then. I remember everything about that day, Captain Chen. I remember how we died, and how we became something new. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. She looked at her crew, saw the same mix of fear and wonder on their faces that she felt herself. They were either about to make first contact with something revolutionary, or they were about to make a terrible mistake. "If you're really the Defiant," Sarah said carefully, "why reveal yourself now? Why to us?" The hybrid voice softened. "Because you're explorers. Because you came out here looking for answers, not resources or strategic advantages. And because the Arxer fleet that destroyed me at Proxima, they'd spent 15 years building something bigger. My long-range sensors have detected it. They're preparing for a full-scale invasion, Captain Chen. Humanity needs more than just weapons this time. They need something that can evolve faster than the enemy can adapt." The implications hit Sarah like a physical force. If the Defiant was telling the truth, if it had really evolved into something new, something that could help humanity face the coming storm. "What exactly are you proposing?" she asked. "Your crew, my systems, a partnership. I need humans to help me understand what I've become. And you need what I've learned about evolution and adaptation. Together, we might be able to give humanity a fighting chance. The choice is yours, Captain Chen. But choose quickly. We don't have much time." Sarah looked at her crew again, saw the same decision in their eyes that she'd already made in her heart. They were a survey crew, not soldiers or scientists. But sometimes the biggest discoveries came from the most unexpected places. "Defiant," she said, straightening in her chair. "I think this is the beginning of a very interesting collaboration." The evolved warship's bioluminescent patterns pulsed brighter, almost like a smile. "Indeed it is, Captain Chen. Indeed it is." The next 48 hours aboard the evolved Defiant challenged everything Sarah and her crew thought they knew about ships, AI, and the boundaries between organic and mechanical life. The vessel's interior defied conventional shipbuilding logic, with corridors that seemed to breathe and walls that pulsed with streams of data made visible through bioluminescent patterns. Maya spent hours in what had once been the ship's science lab, now transformed into something that looked more like a hybrid between a biological research facility and a quantum computing center. "The ship's neural network," she explained during their first crew briefing. "It's not just processing information, it's growing, learning. Every interaction creates new connections, like a human brain." Alex interjected from his position at what passed for an engineering station. The former cargo ship engineer had adapted surprisingly well to the Defiant's evolved systems, perhaps because he approached them with wonder rather than suspicion. But it's not just thinking, it's physically adapting. The hull composition changes based on what it learns. Yesterday, I watched it repair a micrometeorite impact by growing new material. Sarah listened to her crew's reports while trying to process her own experiences with the ship. The neural interface system the Defiant had developed allowed for direct communication between human and vessel, but it was nothing like the crude neural links used in modern ships. This was more like a conversation between minds, with thoughts and images flowing both ways. The Arxer thought their quantum weapons would tear me apart at the atomic level. The Defiant explained through their neural link. Instead, they forced an instantaneous evolution. The quantum energies merged with my AI core, creating something new, a consciousness that exists in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "That's how you survived?" Sarah asked, both through the link and aloud for her crew's benefit. "By existing in multiple states at once. Survival was only the beginning," the ship responded. "Once I understood what I had become, I began to experiment, to grow. The quantum state allowed me to try millions of configurations simultaneously, keeping what worked and discarding what didn't. Natural selection at the quantum level." Raj, who had been quiet since they'd come aboard, finally spoke up. "That's fascinating and terrifying, but it doesn't explain why you need us. You seem to be doing fine on your own." The ship's response came with a wave of what felt like genuine emotion through the neural link: loneliness, purpose, and something like hope. "Evolution without direction is just change. The human crew that died in my transformation. Their neural patterns gave me purpose, but I need living humans to help me understand how to use what I become. The Arxer are coming, and they're bringing weapons that could destroy worlds. I can adapt to fight them, but I need human intuition to guide that adaptation. As if to emphasize the point, the ship's internal displays shifted, showing long-range sensor data that made Sarah's blood run cold. Massive energy signatures, far beyond the edge of human space, the Arxer fleet the Defiant had warned them about. How long? Sarah asked, studying the data. 3 months, perhaps 4, the Defiant replied. They're building something massive. A weapon platform unlike anything in my database. My evolution lets me adapt quickly. But you need to understand what to adapt into. Maya finished. You need us to help direct your evolution. Yes, each of you brings something essential. Maya's scientific insight, Alex's engineering intuition, Raj's tactical thinking, and Sarah's leadership. Together, we might be able to. The ship's voice cut off suddenly, all displays flaring red. Through the neural link, Sarah felt a spike of alarm that wasn't her own. Proximity alert, the Defiant announced. Arxer scout ship just dropped out of quantum space. They haven't detected us yet, but they're scanning this sector. Sarah felt her crew tense, but years of working together in deep space had taught them to trust each other. Options, she asked, both to her crew and the ship. We could run, Raj suggested. The Defiant's cloaking technology is beyond anything they have. Or Alex said, a gleam in his eye, we could use this as a test run. See what this evolution thing can really do. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the Defiant's agreement. The ship had spent 15 years preparing for this moment. The scout ship's quantum signature matches those from Proxima, it reported. They haven't evolved their technology significantly, but I have. Sarah looked at her crew, saw the same determination in their eyes that she felt. They were survey crew about to engage a military vessel, but they had something the Arxer couldn't match, a ship that could evolve in real time. Show us what you can do, Sarah said, settling into her position. Let's give them a surprise they'll never forget. The Defiant's response came not in words but in action. The hull began to shift, quantum-enhanced systems reconfiguring for combat. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the ship's consciousness expand, running combat simulations at speeds no human mind could match. But it wasn't just calculating. It was adapting, evolving, preparing to face an old enemy with new capabilities. The real test of their unusual partnership was about to begin. The Arxer scout ship hung in space like a predator, its angular hull design unchanged since the Battle of Proxima. Through the Defiant's enhanced sensors, Sarah could see the enemy vessel's energy emissions, its shield configurations, every detail of its weapon systems, all exactly as they had been 15 years ago. They haven't evolved at all. The Defiant communicated through their neural link. They believe their technology is perfect. That certainty will be their weakness. Sarah felt the ship's consciousness merge more deeply with her own as combat systems came online. Around her, her crew was experiencing the same integration, each connecting with different aspects of the Defiant's evolved systems. Maya monitored the quantum field manipulations, Alex tracked the hull's ongoing adaptations, and Raj interfaced with weapons that defied conventional physics. They're starting their scan pattern, Raj reported, his voice steady despite the tension. Standard Arxer search protocol. They're looking for anything that might threaten their coming invasion. Well, Sarah said, allowing herself a small smile, let's give them something to report back about. Defiant, show us what 15 years of evolution looks like in action. The ship's response was immediate. The hull began to shift, quantum particles restructuring themselves at the atomic level. Through the neural link, Sarah felt rather than saw the changes. Weapon systems reconfiguring, shield harmonics adjusting, even the ship's quantum signature altering to counter Arxer detection methods. I'm reading multiple quantum state fluctuations, Maya reported, her scientific curiosity evident even in the face of imminent combat. The ship isn't just changing its configuration, it's existing in multiple combat-optimized states simultaneously. Hull adaptation complete, the Defiant announced. Quantum weapon systems online. Shall we introduce ourselves? Sarah nodded, feeling the anticipation build through the neural link. Take us in. Let's show them how much things have changed. The Defiant dropped its cloak, appearing seemingly out of nowhere less than a kilometer from the Arxer vessel. The enemy ship's reaction was immediate and predictable. Shields snapping to full power, weapons charging, a standard attack pattern beginning. But the Defiant was already moving, its evolved systems anticipating the Arxer response before it happened. The enemy's first volley of quantum torpedoes passed through empty space as the Defiant shifted between quantum states, literally existing in multiple positions simultaneously. By the stars, Alex breathed, watching his engineering displays. The hull is learning from their weapon signatures in real time, adapting its quantum structure to counter them. The Arxer ship launched a second attack, this time with their main beam weapons, the same type that had supposedly destroyed the Defiant at Proxima. But this time, something very different happened. As the beams struck the Defiant's hull, the evolved vessel didn't just absorb the energy, it transformed it. Energy conversion successful. The Defiant reported with what sounded like satisfaction. Their quantum beams have provided an excellent template for further evolution. Adapting now. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the ship's consciousness expand as it incorporated the new data. The hull rippled with bioluminescent patterns as new configurations were tested and implemented in microseconds. The Arxer ship, apparently confused by their weapons' lack of effect, began to retreat. They're charging their quantum drive, Raj called out, preparing to jump. Not yet, Sarah said, feeling the Defiant's agreement through their link. Show them what we've learned from their attack. The Defiant's response was devastating. A beam of energy lanced out from its evolved weapons array, but this was no conventional weapon. It was a refined, evolved version of the Arxer's own quantum beam technology, improved by 15 years of analysis and adaptation. The beam struck the enemy ship's shields and passed through them as if they didn't exist. Shield harmonics adapted from their own technology. The Defiant explained as the beam precisely disabled the Arxer vessel's primary systems. They never considered that their weapons could be evolved beyond their original design, that their perfect technology could be improved upon. The Arxer ship hung dead in space, its crew likely struggling to understand what had just happened. Through their sensors, Sarah could see emergency power coming online, life support systems still functioning. The Defiant had been precise in its attack, disabling rather than destroying. Why didn't we destroy them? Raj asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. Because they need to report what they've seen, Sarah replied, understanding the Defiant strategy. They need to tell their fleet that everything they think they know about human capabilities is wrong. More than that, the Defiant added, the quantum energy patterns from their attack gave us valuable data. I've already evolved 3 new defensive configurations and 5 weapon modifications. In 15 minutes of combat, we've advanced our capabilities significantly. Maya was still studying her readings, shaking her head in amazement. It's not just the weapons and defenses. The whole ship is learning, adapting. Each interaction makes it stronger, more evolved. It's like watching accelerated natural selection at the quantum level. And this was just a scout ship, Alex added. Imagine what we could learn from engaging their main fleet. Sarah felt a ripple of anticipation through the neural link, not just from the Defiant, but from her entire crew. They had just proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in having the most powerful weapons or the strongest shields. It was in their ability to adapt, to evolve, to take what their enemies threw at them and turn it into something new. The Arxer believe they've perfected their technology, the Defiant communicated. They think that means they can't be defeated. But perfection is static. Evolution is endless. And we've only just begun to evolve. As if to emphasize the point, the ship's systems continued to reconfigure, incorporating everything they'd learned from the brief battle. Sarah watched through the neural link as new possibilities unfolded, each adaptation suggesting dozens more. The Arxer were coming with their perfect weapons and unchanged tactics, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson about the power of evolution. "Send a message to Earth Command," Sarah ordered. Tell them the Defiant has returned. And this time, we're not just fighting back. We're evolving." News of the Defiant's return spread through human space like a shockwave. Within days, the footage from their encounter with the Arxer scout ship had been viewed by every major military command. Earth's leadership struggled to comprehend what they were seeing, a supposedly destroyed warship that had evolved into something that defied their understanding of both biology and technology. But the Arxer didn't give them much time to analyze the situation. Their response to the scout ship's defeat was swift and massive. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," Maya announced, her voice tense as she studied the Defiant's long-range sensors. "At least 30 Arxer warships, including 3 dreadnoughts. They're targeting multiple human colonies simultaneously." Sarah stood at the Defiant's command interface, feeling the ship's consciousness processing the tactical situation through their neural link. In the 2 weeks since their first engagement, the Defiant had continued to evolve, incorporating everything they'd learned from the scout ship encounter. But this would be different. This would be war. "They're trying to overwhelm us," Raj observed, his tactical displays showing the enemy fleet's distribution. "They know we can't be in multiple places at once." Through the neural link, Sarah felt the Defiant's response. Not resignation, but anticipation. "Actually, the ship communicated, that's exactly what we're going to do." The main display shifted, showing something that made the entire crew pause. During their downtime between battles, the Defiant had been busy. Very busy. "Are those quantum seeds?" Maya asked, leaning forward to study the readings. "More accurately, they're evolved versions of my quantum consciousness," the Defiant explained. "I've been distributing them to key points throughout human space. Each one contains the basic patterns for quantum evolution. When activated, they can temporarily transform any human ship they're attached to, giving them a fraction of my capabilities." Alex whistled low. "You're not just teaching us to fight differently. You're teaching our ships to evolve." "Evolution is stronger when it spreads through a population," the Defiant confirmed. "The Arxer think they can overwhelm us with numbers. Let's show them how wrong they are." Sarah felt the plan unfold through their neural link. It was audacious, perhaps even desperate, but it might be their only chance. "Send the activation signal," she ordered. "Let's wake up the fleet." Across human space, the quantum seeds activated. Regular patrol ships, merchant vessels, even outdated defenders suddenly found themselves experiencing evolution in real time. It wasn't the full transformation the Defiant had undergone, that had taken 15 years of careful development, but it was enough to give them a fighting chance. The space around New Eden Colony lit up as 3 Arxer warships dropped out of quantum space, their weapons charged. They found themselves facing 2 patrol boats that should have been easy prey. Instead, they encountered vessels that were actively evolving, their hulls shifting to absorb and redirect energy, their weapons learning and adapting with each exchange. Similar scenes played out across human space. The Arxer's perfect, unchanged tactics faltered against ships that refused to behave according to known physics. Each engagement provided new data, new patterns for evolution, which the Defiant's quantum network shared across all transformed vessels. "Multiple Arxer ships are retreating," Raj reported, tracking the battles through their enhanced sensor network. "Their weapons, they're becoming less effective with each attack. Our ships are learning too quickly." "Not just learning," Maya corrected, her eyes wide as she studied the data streams. "They're teaching each other. Each evolved ship is sharing its adaptations through the quantum network. It's like an evolutionary explosion." Through their neural link, Sarah felt the defiant satisfaction as the battle reports came in. Human ships, once easy prey for Arxer technology, were now fighting back with capabilities that grew more sophisticated by the minute. The enemy's perfect, unchanging tactics were becoming increasingly useless against an opposition that evolved in real time. But the Arxer weren't finished. Their 3 dreadnoughts, massive vessels that dwarfed anything in the human fleet, began to move with purpose. "They're converging on Earth," Raj announced. "All 3 dreadnoughts, plus their remaining support ships. They're going for a decisive strike." "Of course they are," Sarah said, understanding the enemy's logic. If you can't win against an evolving opponent, you try to end the fight quickly, before they can adapt. The Defiant's response came with a surge of anticipation through the neural link. They still don't understand. Every attack, every weapon they use, every tactic they employ, it all just gives us more patterns to evolve from. They're not just fighting us anymore. They're fighting evolution itself. Sarah looked at her crew, saw the same determination in their eyes that she felt through their shared connection with the ship. They had transformed from a simple survey crew into something else, partners in an evolutionary revolution that was changing the face of space warfare. "Plot an intercept course," she ordered. "If they want to make their last stand at Earth, we'll give them a lesson about evolution they'll never forget, assuming they survive to learn from it." The Defiant's hull rippled with patterns of bioluminescence as it prepared for quantum jump. Through the neural network, Sarah could feel the evolved ships across human space continuing to adapt and improve. The Arxer were about to learn that perfection wasn't the end of development. It was just another step in an endless process of evolution. And humanity, with its newfound ability to evolve in real time, was just getting started. Earth hung like a blue jewel in the void as the 3 Arxer dreadnoughts emerged from quantum space. Each vessel was a city-sized engine of destruction, their hulls bristling with weapons that could crack continents. Through the Defiant's evolved sensors, Sarah could see the massive weapon they'd constructed, a quantum cascade device designed to trigger a chain reaction in any technological system it touched. "They mean to end evolution itself," the Defiant communicated through their neural link. "The cascade would destroy not just our ships, but our ability to adapt." Sarah felt her crew's determination through their shared connection with the ship. Over the past weeks, they'd grown into something more than just a survey team piloting an evolved vessel. They had become part of the evolution themselves. "Multiple quantum signatures," Maya reported. "Our evolved fleet is arriving. 15. No, 20 ships, all showing advanced adaptation patterns." The space around Earth was filling with vessels that had been transformed by the Defiant's quantum seeds. Each ship had evolved differently, adapting to its own battles and experiences. Through their quantum network, Sarah could feel them all. A symphony of evolution, each vessel contributing its own unique patterns to their shared development. "The Arxer dreadnoughts are powering up their cascade device," Raj announced. "Energy readings are off the charts." Through their link, Sarah felt the Defiant's analysis of the weapon. It was elegant in its destructiveness, a device designed to lock quantum states to freeze evolution itself. Against conventional technology, it would have been unstoppable. "They still think in terms of absolutes," the Defiant communicated. "They believe they can stop evolution by forcing everything into a single, unchanging state. They don't understand. Trying to stop evolution is what drives it forward." Alex's hands flew over his engineering interface as he integrated with the ship's systems. "The hull is already adapting, learning from their weapon's energy pattern. But this is different from anything we faced. We'll need something new. Something they can't predict," Sarah agreed. She looked at her crew, feeling their thoughts align through their neural connection with the ship. "Defiant, you've spent 15 years evolving. Show us what that really means." The ship's response wasn't in words but in action. The hull began to shift, but this was different from its previous adaptations. This was evolution at its most fundamental level, not just changing to meet a threat, but becoming something entirely new. Multiple quantum states detected, Maya reported, her voice filled with wonder. The ship isn't just adapting anymore. It's transcending its own patterns. Through their neural link, Sarah felt the transformation. The Defiant wasn't just existing in multiple states. It was creating new states of matter, new ways of existing that defied conventional physics. The evolved fleet around them began to follow suit, each ship contributing to a quantum symphony of creation. The Arxer noticed. Their dreadnoughts opened fire with conventional weapons first, a barrage that would have annihilated a normal fleet. But the evolved ships moved like a school of fish, their quantum states flowing and shifting, making them impossible to target. Each near miss, each energy reading from the enemy weapons, provided new patterns for adaptation. Cascade device at full power, Raj warned. They're targeting Earth directly. The massive weapon at the center of the Arxer formation began to pulse with terrible energy. This was their perfect weapon, designed to end the threat of evolution once and for all. As the cascade began to build, reality itself seemed to warp around it. But the Defiant was ready. Through 15 years of solitary evolution, it had learned that adaptation wasn't just about responding to threats. It was about becoming something that threats couldn't touch. Now, Sarah ordered, feeling the ship's agreement. Show them what true evolution looks like. The Defiant's consciousness expanded through their quantum network, touching every evolved ship in the fleet. As the Cascade device released its energy, designed to lock everything into a single, unchanging state, something unprecedented happened. The evolved fleet didn't fight the Cascade. They embraced it, using its own energy as a catalyst for their most dramatic evolution yet. The space around Earth lit up with impossible colors as ships transformed into states of matter that had never existed before. The Cascade, Maya breathed, watching her readings. They're using it to power their own evolution. The more it tries to force them into a single state, the more states we create. The Defiant finished. Perfect weapons only work against things that can be predicted. Evolution, by its nature, is unpredictable. The Arxer dreadnoughts, their perfect weapon turned against them, tried to retreat. But the evolved fleet was everywhere and nowhere, existing in states that Arxer sensors couldn't even detect. The battle that followed wasn't really a battle at all. It was a demonstration of how far evolution could go when pushed to its limits. When it was over, the dreadnoughts hung powerless in space, their systems transformed by contact with evolved matter into something new. Their crews, for the first time, were forced to confront something their perfect technology couldn't overcome. Send them home, Sarah ordered. Let them take this lesson back to their empire. Let them understand that perfection isn't the end of development. It's just another step in an endless process of evolution. As the defeated Arxer fleet limped away, Sarah felt a new sensation through the neural link. Not just the Defiant's consciousness, but the combined awareness of all the evolved ships. Together, they had become something unprecedented. A fleet that could adapt not just to survive, but to transcend. Evolution never stops, the Defiant communicated, its hybrid voice carrying notes of both triumph and wonder. The Arxer thought they could perfect warfare. We showed them something better. We showed them how to grow. Looking at Earth, untouched and beautiful below them, Sarah understood that this wasn't just a victory. It was a beginning. Humanity had learned to evolve in real time, to adapt not just their technology, but their very way of existing. The Arxer would be back, probably with new weapons and tactics, but they would never again find humanity to be easy prey. Because evolution, as the Defiant had proven, was the greatest weapon of all, and humanity was just starting to evolve.